Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Between Two Hats with your hosts, Patrick Osman and Phillip Burton. Today we are blessed with another great guest, the one and only, the male model of our industry. This guy is the hottest we got. As a matter of fact, he'll give you an offer from OfferPad that's hotter than any other offer. He is an absolute champion in the industry, and on top of that, comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience. He may even touch on Jesus Christ. He was a former pastor, the man himself, the one and only Bobby Triplett.
Man,
welcome to the show, Bobby.
I got to take my hat off to that introduction. I don't think I can live up to it, but thanks, man. I got you fooled real fast. That's awesome, Patrick. Thank you. Glad to be here, boys.
I get the chills every time he does an intro. When I'm not feeling good, I just call him and say, just do an intro. Just give me the intro, bro.
I love it.
So I've got something to share with you, Phil, that I've been doing behind your back.
Uh-oh.
Long story short, the intros that you absolutely love are the ones that I have not planned. I don't have any.
I know.
But there's been some intros that I've written and I've screwed them up.
Oh. So what he's saying is he's more of an improv guy than a
There it
sketch
is.
I'm an
guy.
improv guy, dude.
Yeah.
I'm an improv guy.
This is why we get along so well. If I have to read a canned speech of any length, I mean, even a sentence, I stumble. A little dyslexic, right? So it's hard for me to read things that are written down. I have to have almost like a stenographer, right? I just need the first letter of what I need to memorize, and I know that I can fill it in. And you're the same. I didn't realize that. I thought you wrote stuff down. That's
Which can we
cool.
just pause for a minute and just tip our hats to the stenographers? I don't even know how that works. Like it's just like they've got like
Bobby
9 keys
Triplett.
and they're word for wording it there. Like that's
Google it.
Yeah.
It's a trip to watch because there's a video that shows them practicing and they have these paddles. They're like little kitty cats playing with paddles, and they're like doot, 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 and you see what it prints out, and it's like K A la gi ga do ga ga za ga gu ga, and they know that gets all the words. It's unbelievable. But
now, can they take their hat to work day? Is there like one of those where they could take one of us to work?
I hope so.
Yeah, we should be like a thing in the industry.
Hey, between the three of us, one of us is going to be in court anyways for something. So yeah, may not be on the right side of the stenographer. I don't know.
Oh, that is
bless
funny.
us, everyone.
Bobby, we've been trying to get you on the show now for a couple of weeks, and we've missed you. You spent some time in Europe recently. I know you were here in Dallas. Actually, the last podcast we had, Phil was asking me questions about, me and the baby, and I told him my first night out was with you. Right, having cigars, and we got pretty deep. And bro, I before we start the podcast and go deep into questioning about you and all that good stuff, I just want to personally let you know that I am so grateful for our friendship.
Yeah,
it means the world to me.
I think one of the things to me is in this industry, you get to make friends like with good people. You get to make friends with bad people too, but then you get to like go that extra level. And there's not been a meal that I haven't shared with either one of you. A beverage, a cigar, a heartache, an unspoken secret, whatever it may be, that I didn't feel like I was safe in your company, and I was honored to be breaking bread alongside of either one of you. So
I appreciate that.
I think that's the whole motto and mantra of who Pat and I are, and you too. We're in business to make money for the companies we work for, and to create a culture and have a good place for other people to hang their hat, so to speak. When you get to do it with people you actually like, that's the win. And in our case, right? Like, and I've said this to other folks, there's folks that I'll never do work with in the capacity of my job, but I'm so blessed that I get to know you. And that for me is where the value comes, because you just start surrounding yourself with good people, good things happen to you.
Amen to that, bro. I'm with you.
And I got to come clean about something. So the first time I ever saw Bobby was at your house, Phil. Okay. And it was at IMN. And you had that event, and Bobby showed up to the event. And
you thought he was a male stripper at first. I remember you started pulling out.
Is that why all those singles were there? Is that why all those singles were there?
Pat, calm down.
I had to run to the bathroom I had to run to the bathroom for a 5-second tug. Have a breather.
Keep it clean, big fella.
Anyway, so when I seen you for the first time, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't speak much because we didn't know each other.
Sure.
But the vibe that I got from you was a shit one.
Oh man. Damn.
I thought you were like an unapproachable, arrogant guy.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that I'm telling you
Right
this
there.
right now
No,
live.
I'm sorry that I put out that vibe, man. I
No,
feel
but
like
you
this
were
is my new prop for the day, by the way, just so we're clear.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I love it.
But the thing is, you can use it. See, he just took it off. He took you out
Yeah.
after us. A bit of respect. That's how I felt. And then when I got to know you, like maybe 7 or 8 months later, I was like, this guy is my missing brother that I haven't had my whole life. So,
Yeah, it was
bro, I'm
one of
so
those, I think it was the NRHC Orlando.
yes.
I followed Phillip in, and I can't remember if we're all sitting at the same table or not, but I'm like, I need to
No,
get to
Phil.
know this guy. Like obviously you guys are buddies, and I was like, man, if he's a friend of Phillip, then I need to know him. And we sat. I think we solved almost all of the world's problems in
You
that
lot of
certainly
them.
worked
luncheon.
on them.
Like
I know you were working on them.
it was pretty epic. And I remember like leaving that day. I called my wife. I was like, man, I just met an awesome dude. Like I got a little bit of a man crush. This is awesome.
Nah, it's good. And you know what? We need more brothers to join a
Yeah,
circle.
sure.
You know what I mean? It's good to have a small circle. I respect that. But having more brothers on the same wavelength, spiritually, mentally, from a maturity standpoint, all of us brothers, whether we work together or not in the same industry or not, it's super
Sure.
important that the same herd flock together, you know?
I don't know if you just
Well,
called me a cow or not. Do I need to lose a
yeah,
few more? Is that
he's insulting you once again.
right?
He'll continue with the insults for a little while and then he'll forget.
This guy.
No, I love that you shared that, Pat, because so many interactions we have in these businesses are short, right? Like we talk a lot about being at the shows and the different things that we do. And you have moments to just connect with people, very short moments. And on our side, and you're actually the same. You're biz dev for your company in reality too, because you're trying to find new clients as well
Sure.
as well as being a client to many. We have to hit it, and we have to connect and make something that people go, hey, I want to get to know that guy or girl a little bit more. And you can't always be on point. And the other point that I think Pat was making too with what he said, sometimes you don't really get to know somebody until they open up to you. And
Yeah,
I have
that's true.
another really, really good friend, Dale Phillips, and he's in the multifamily side of the business. He's a OG in multifamily in Arizona and across the Southwest. And when I first met him, I thought the same. He's this aloof kind of, thought he was stuck up better than everyone else. And he's just a quiet guy. And until you're in, you don't get in. And he's not keeping you out. He just isn't going to let you know who he is until he trusts you. And so many people have had that conversation with me about Dale, probably similar to what Pat's sharing of, man, I thought he was you know what, to begin with. And then you realize he's the sweetest guy in the world. So, and it's similar with you, man. You've got a heart of gold, brother.
Ah, thanks, boys. I appreciate it, gentlemen.
Do you guys mind if I lead this podcast with a point of reference in my relationship with Bobby?
Yeah, run with it, brother.
Let's go for it.
Okay. So
Is this point of reference though? Is this point of reference safe for the airwaves?
shirts, put it this way, shirts will stay on, so we're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when Zachariah was, I think he was about 2 weeks old, I sent one text to 5 people. You two received it, and there was another 3 people actually in the industry that received it as well. But these are the people closest to me. I'm going to read the text, and then Bobby, if you don't mind, I'm going to read your response. Is that okay?
All right. Yes, sir.
All right. I said, good afternoon, bro. As I enter the journey of fatherhood, obviously it's my first, and he's only 12 days old. I'm thinking about my role in my relationship with my wife as well as a father. I feel like I'm still tied up and obsessed with the business, which is not, I think, a bad thing. At the same time, I don't want work to consume me. What should I be focusing on as a father right now? Now, Phil responded. I still remember Phil's response. He said, dude, it's Saturday afternoon. You going this deep? And then he called me. That was Phil. And then Phil gave me the story that you got kicked out of that party.
Yeah, I gave you my John Crest story that I shared on
John
the
Crest story. You gave me
podcast with
that.
Darren Williams about.
Which
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Bobby responded and said the following. He said, for me, it's all about serving her and the baby. What can I do to help her rest and recover so she can be back to 100%? When she was at 100%, it always gave me the space to be all in on the business. So here's where he's closing me. The other thing will be setting time boundaries. when are you off? And then be deliberate and focused on them. God gave us big shoulders for serving, and that was my way. That will be for a season, though. This will be for a season, though, and they will change as your boy grows. For now, I say serve. And Bobby, I must admit, my brother, I have deployed both Phil's advice and your advice. And you know what? This pregnancy and the joy and bundle of life that God gave us has been so smooth because of the expertise that both of you guys have shared with me. And I just want to say thank you so much for that.
Well, man.
Yeah, tip of the hat to
awesome.
that.
There you go.
Serving my wife has been like incredible. I was holding our baby last night. He got blessed by the patriarch at our church. And
I
was
saw that
holding
picture, which was super cool, by the way. You posted those today, right?
Yeah, it was awesome event. We had a blast. He started crying, and then I picked him up and I held him. And I had 3 women come up to me and they said, "We're shocked that you're soothing your son and it's not the wife." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because our husbands didn't do that." Boys, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think Bobby actually breastfed.
I did a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't want to steal your thunder there, but he trumps that. He trumps your story. Yeah. He actually breastfed for the first 6 months and then his wife took over. But no, go ahead, Bobby. Talk about that.
I mean, I think women are more naturally a nurturer. Like, and I'm at a different stage with all my kids. Like with the teenagers, I've got to be like, with my daughter, I can be the, hey, prepare you for college. My son, I still have my older son. I've got to put a little bit of a boot in the ass with the out of the boy at the same time. You know, he's about to be 15. And with the little guys, like, it's like, I am still the disciplinarian. I'm still the bad cop sometimes, you know what I mean? But like, there's like, when they were little, like, there was no, I don't really think there was like a diversion of roles. It was like, hey, this one's crying. Like, let's figure it out. Now, that happens now at 5.5, 100%. Like, they're going to my wife. You know what I mean? They know. I mean, if I'm the only one here, they're fine. I'm going to take care of them. But like, I am also the rub some dirt on it guy at this age, because most of the time, unless they've fallen out of the tree fort or got a big old raspberry because they were learning without training wheels on the bike, then usually it's more on the whining side, and I don't do the whining side. But
why are you the rub some dirt on it type of guy?
I will tell you, that's my dad. 100% that was my dad. Like, if my feelings were hurt or I was genuinely in pain, like, tears were totally fine. You know what I mean? If it was that I was just scared, or like, hey, you can be sad for a minute, but like, listen, we got to keep going. I mean, it was the same way, like when I played sports, if you got hurt, okay, you can sit here and you can be sad about it, but are you going to forego the rest of the game and all the time because of your sadness? You know what I mean? And like, that is definitely translated to my kids. Like, it's funny. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but the other day, I don't know, maybe it was a year ago, somebody like was asking me like what they were known for. And I told them this thing that they were known for. So I'm picking up my big kids from school, and I asked them, I'm like, okay, like what are the phrases that dad says all the time that you would say, like,
that's what
without
dad's
a shadow of a doubt, like this?
Yeah.
They're like, it was 2 of them. One of them was leave it better than you found it, because I say it all the time. And the other one was figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, and those two, like, this is what I tell them, hey, you're going to have to figure it out. Like, I'll help you, but this is on you to figure it out. It was funny, man, because I'm not a video gamer even a little bit. My soon to be 15-year-old, just trying to find a way to connect with him right now. Just like, I mean, it's always been sports, but like, he's too cool for school sometimes, you know what I mean? And like, then other times there's my little boy again, you know? And he's figuring that out. He's got his little mustache and his 6-pack and his, you know, girlfriend, the whole 9 yards. But 6-pack of abs, by the way, not 6-pack of beer. Just want to clarify, not condoning
that you know of.
This is Triplett son. Yeah. This is Triplett son, people.
Right. So we ended up, he's a big Zelda guy, and I'm not, he's like, Dad, like, Zelda's an important game to me. What would you like? Would you be willing to do this? And like, I'm desperate at this point because we've done this a little bit over the last year. Yeah, man. Like, all right, if you teach me. And now this little punk, right? Because he's really good at games. And if he ever tries to pretend he's dumb, like the amount of intelligence it takes to figure out the puzzles in this thing, I'm like, you're just lazy, because like, you're incredibly intelligent. like smarter than me to figure this out. So I'll never forget, like I'm sitting, I'm like, hey man, Gabe, like, what do I do here? And he was on his phone and he just puts the setup. He goes, figure it out, Dad. And I was like, boom, mic drop. You know what I mean?
Best. It's like that scene from Kung Fu when the student becomes a teacher. You got to grab the pebble from my hand, and he's got the pebble. When they make that transition from, just gelatinous little punks to, hey, they're getting it, and what you've you've been trying to put through to them is starting to resonate. I mean, it's the coolest feeling, man.
It is cool. I still want to smack them sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. And I don't think that ever changes. I mean, my oldest is 31 now. He's big. I think you guys have both met Maddie. I can't remember if you have, but he's 6'4". He's a big dude, and I still want to smack him sometimes, but now I know he'll hit back, and so I think a little bit more about it. But going back to your point, Pat, about the nurturing side, right? Biology obviously plays a role in that, as just how we're wired up as creatures, right? As living human beings, not man or woman, just, we're wired up differently than females and vice versa. And so by nature, I think women are more nurturing than men, but it's all in us too. It's just a matter of what you were shown to as a child. I think that's a big part of it. I will share my experience. My dad was a wonderful man, but he was not a loving person. He didn't know how to express love and like touching. I almost get a handshake from him every time I'd go to see him, but I'd like grab him, give him a hug. And my mom was super nurturing and very loving. And so that stuck with me as a young man. And so that is who I am to my children. My boys get mad because I still call them honey and baby. Like funny story with Matthew. We were at a club here in town, a restaurant place that's a club as well, a pretty high society kind of place. And we're getting in the elevator coming down from dinner, and the elevator's stacked. Let me just say, like, I'm with my son, Liz, some other people, and then there's just, some Miami 12s in there with us. And I said to Maddie, I go, hey, honey, will you hit the button number 4 or whatever on the thing? And he looks at me, he goes, Dad, are you ever not going to call me honey or baby? I'm 31 years old. And everybody started busting up in the elevator. I said, no, babe, that's not going to change,
I love it.
That's beautiful though. I love that, dude.
And it's so natural. And, so I just kind of putting a bow on it with the nurturing part. It's whatever works for you guys, right? I think you will find your way into what is best for you. And you already are. Like, you just picking up your son and being consoling is amazing. Now, not everybody is that, and they have other ways of showing it, and that's okay too, right? Like, what I always say to people, and I might have said this to you, Pat, was there is no formula for being a parent because the variables are different every time. You and Kiara are two different equations than myself and Liz, or myself and Sarah, the boy's mom. Bobby, you and your wife. So you got to figure out what works for you guys. And it's really cool that you're asking these questions. That for me is what is so magical, is that you want to figure it out instead of just, letting it be.
Yeah, there was wild. Like, so my dad never knew who his dad was. He ended up being raised by his
mine
aunt
too.
and uncle around 4 years old, and he was a hellion. And his mom gave him up. Basically, she couldn't handle it. And my pawpaw was a hard ass. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much so that my dad was ready to leave at 17. So when I'm the oldest, they have me. Like, he wanted to, one, undo the fact that he never knew his dad. Two, like, all the hard work and the hard assery of my pawpaw made my dad into one of the hardest working guys you've ever met in your life. Like, he's still my hero, and I want to be him when I grow up. But he also wanted to undo that stuff. Like, so, like, I still call I'll call him Dad, but like, if I'm calling him on the phone, hey, Daddy, what's going on? Like, I'll call him Daddy. Yeah. Like, I'll hug him. Like, every now and then I'll give him a kiss on the cheek type of thing. And
that's how I am, brother.
Yeah. And even like with my oldest son, like, I'll kiss my daughter all the time. Like, my oldest son, like, he used to let me hug him and kiss him. And now I kind of basically have to force against his will. Like, I'm hugging you, man. I love you. I made you. You know what I mean? Like,
that's so funny. I have the same deal. Same thing.
And I think, like, I never want any of my kids to not feel like they're the apple of my eye. They're the prized son. Like, they are worth the sacrifice or the service that we talked about, or the crap that's all over your hand when you're wiping their ass. You know what I mean? Or, they're going to be highly inconvenient, 100% inconvenient. And it's going to be worth it as you see them go. And at the same time, like, I've had buddies that, like, are not to rub some dirt on it. Their kids turn out fine. And I've had buddies that are not to rub the dirt on it, and their kid, like, I just like will just blow over at the first sign of, hardship. And unfortunately, like, one of the books that I read, like, and I've sent it to you, Pat, like the prize son is though that you'll always be the prize son. The era of being the little boy is very short. And so, like, how do I teach them how to be a man? I think we're all still learning how to do that
on that note,
ourselves.
considering that you brought the book up, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't finished it, but I'm about halfway through.
Yeah.
So in the book, he speaks about the different journeys and phases of manhood for a child, right? And that book was I got super emotional when I was listening to that book, and I'm not willing to share on the podcast what I was emotional about, but it goes pretty deep into, I guess, the building of the subconscious mind of your son and what phases of life he's going to go through. My question to you is, did you notice the phases in your son's life, and did you apply methods and strategies from this book to raise your son?
Well, I read it before I had kids, so, like,
Okay.
it's a little unfair, like, but I noticed them now. You know what I mean? Like, till he was about 12, it was like I want him to be adventurous. I want him to be brave. I want him to try new things. I want him to be able to get over disappointment, right? And, like, but he's always safe. Like, it's still cheat codes on. You know what I mean? Like, like the big bad guy can't get him. Once he hit about 12 and he started getting that independence, he was an early bloomer. I was a chubby late bloomer, man. Like, I don't think it was, maybe I was a freshman in high school when I started. Like, he was straight up 7th grade. Got the full mustache and everything. But once he hit that 12, like, it was okay. His personality is starting to change. He's, you guys ever have a puppy or a male puppy that would, like, was every now and then would try to pretend he's the alpha male just to see where he's at, and then you gotta, like, nail him, like, you gotta put him down, bite his neck, whatever Caesar tells you you're supposed to do, and remind him who's the alpha. All of a sudden, at that 12-ish to 13 and boys, like, they start, well, he's not just play wrestling, he's trying to see if he can.
He wants to, he's trying to hurt you.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, there's like,
he wants to see if he can.
Right. Yeah. And you have to kind of remind him, okay, now this is this, I forget what John Eldridge says, either the cowboy or the ranger phase, where now he's starting to sow some, like, need for his own space, to see if he can pass his own test. You know what I mean? Not with dad helping him, but is he man enough does he have what it takes to go to the next level? That's where I'm at right now, is that next phase.
I remember clearly. So my dad was not a big guy, but he was a talented guy, right? And he had some time. He grew up similar to, I think, what you were sharing with your dad. He was on his own at age 13, pretty much, and left the home before finishing school, took off and went across the country at age 14 or 15 with a car that he'd built himself, and traveled to Florida, and
That's amazing.
then got back to California, ended up in some biker gang type stuff as a young man. So he could fight, and was a boxer as a kid, and taught me some of that stuff. But as a young man, I never thought, like, oh, you're just my kind of skinny. And I was skinny too. I was not a big guy when I was younger. I'm like, oh, you're my dad, I can take you. And I used to always think that. And I remember the first time I squared up to him, I bladed up, my hands came up like that. And he looked at me, he goes, you sure? And I made, like, the wrong move, like step forward. He hit me so hard and so fast, so many times. I literally had no idea what was happening. And I just get up, and I'm, like, sitting on my ass in the hallway of our house, looking up at him.
How old are you?
I want to say 14, 15, maybe a little bit older, somewhere in there, where I was really pushing it. Right. And I'm literally on my butt looking up at him, and he's not even breathing hard. He's just standing over me. He goes, what do you need? You need more than that? And I'm like, Roger that. I got you, fella. I'm going to change some things before I come back into this ring. And it was such a cool experience. And, guys don't always have to go through that learning curve. Not every dad's had to get in it with their kid. Some folks are different, but I think the majority do. And I've been there with my son, my big one that I've told you about. Now I wouldn't probably want to square off to him, but I have. He's done it to me. And it's just that rite of passage when you just have some dust up that tells you, okay, he's sowing his oats, getting his alpha on.
Right.
And that's beautiful because that's what
because you want them to. You want them to test their own limits.
You do. Men and strong men need to have that that innate alpha, and it doesn't always have to be physical too. So I'm not trying to sound woke and all that crap, but like some guys aren't physically impressive, or they're gonna do it intellectually. There's ways of asserting your male, and I don't mean dominance over women, but just that male push forward, that you've got that extra level. And when you get to feel that, when you see a young man doing that in whatever way works for them, you're just like, oh, there it is. That's the cycle of male life, and you see it being passed along.
And the balance is like, because a good humbling for every man is essential often.
Oh,
right.
I need it every day. That's why
it's
I
the
have
only
Liz.
thing that builds character, brings you back to earth.
Yeah.
It's
but
important.
the difference is when you're a dad doing it, how do I humble him without crippling him? And I don't necessarily mean physically, but like you want to remind him that you're still the man without taking the fight out of him or the drive out of him. And whether it's like engineering something or a video game,
whatever,
or sports or food or whatever.
It's confident. It's like confidence, right? It just, man, you want to see that come up. And
so then what do? Do you prove that you're the man of the house, or do you
until you can't? Yeah.
But even when we're proving we're the man of the house, we're still not at 100%. You know what I mean? Like it's, at least I don't think I'm so far. Like Gabe is definitely going to be stronger than me. This kid, he's a beast. I don't think he might have the height on me, but he's definitely going to have the muscle.
Yeah.
And it was like, we were wrestling the other day, and I had family over. I had a couple tequilas, some ranch water. And so I'm feeling good, and we're watching football, and he was picking on his little brothers. And I was like, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? And he squares up.
No.
And all
is there a crowd?
Like we're not punching, but we'll wrestle. I love wrestling with my boys. You're gonna have so much fun doing that. Like at whatever capacity, they love it. And all of a sudden, like I realize he's not playing. He's trying his best.
Yeah.
And like,
you can feel that.
I would maybe well like 30%, 40% strength. And now I kid you not, I got pissed because now I have to go at like 70 or 80% to get him to stop. And I don't want to hurt him. I'm like, he's got a freaking tournament the next day. And for me to get him off of him,
you gotta hurt him.
I was so mad. I remember telling him, like, and in my mind, I was like, I had to think about it. Like, why am I so mad? And I'm realizing because he's becoming not a little boy. He's becoming a true young man. And
but why does that make you mad?
Well, it made me mad because I couldn't just whip him easy.
Well, you get mad at yourself, Pat. Like he's not mad at his son. You're like, well, it's not, I don't even know if it's mad. Maybe it's more of a realization that, it's changing, the guard, the passing of the guard, and the things that we used to be able to do so easily.
Was it your ego that was pissed?
No, I think it was because I didn't want to have to hurt him. And now he was not catching on. I'm like, hey, bud, all right, we're good. And then, and now I'm like, and he wouldn't relent. And I'm like,
and you had to go to 80%.
You know what I mean? So I get him off of me without hurting him. But it was like, I ended up taking his brothers upstairs, put him to bed. And he's cocking a walk. And my father-in-law is down there. He's like, you see that? I can take my dad. And my father was like, you're still his son. And he's like, he did not go 100%. If he did 100%, you would not be waking up right now. You know what I mean? He's like, he's got,
but you're,
like,
but
I
you're
got
at
100
that
pounds
place
on him.
where you'd have to go to your max to put him down, to keep him humble.
Right.
And they're just getting to know their strides. But it's coming. That it flips overnight almost too.
Yeah.
When you start to go, oh, I don't want to have to do this.
He clearly was like, okay, I want to test my dad's limits and see where I'm at with this guy.
Yeah. 100%. And here's the thing that I'm so excited because, like, and I've humbled him, and he's, and now he's got a chance to humble me with this video game thing, which is great. But he's starting his first. He was always Mr. Baseball, travel baseball, always one of the top 2 or 3 guys on the team, every team he played on. And he's Mr. Big Hitter and fastest guy. Well, now he's going to high school and he wants to play football. So he's been in two-a-days all summer. They just got pads yesterday. And I was so excited to go to his practice because I was like, buddy, you're going to play against guys that are I'm 6'3", 215, that are your dad's size, and you're 5'6", 155. And they're not going to hold back on you. And I can't wait.
They want to take your head off.
I want to see him. Like, this is the exciting part, right? I want to see him get humbled, but more than that, I want to see his response. Because that, like, I think business wise, marriage wise, financial wise, whatever. Like when we get our ass handed to him, and whether we stepped in it, whether it's our own fault, whether it's not our own fault, whatever
just
it
life
is,
showing
like,
up. Yeah.
yeah, how do we respond?
That's it,
Right?
brother.
Do we tuck tail, run away? And sometimes we do. Do we like have a gut check and figure out a new way? Like, do we go get wisdom from somebody else? Like, I just can't wait to see how he responds. Like, and my prayer, like my hope is that when he gets punched in the mouth, because you will, every single person that has ever played a sport, especially like a rugby from where you're from, Pat, or like football here or lacrosse or whatever, you're going to get a bloody nose or a bloody mouth. And like, what do you do with it next? Like that, because I think there's been times in all of our life where we're not really proud of the way we responded. You know what I mean? And then there's been times where,
right?
Yeah.
You don't know how you're going to respond always. And I think testing that, it's my favorite Mike Tyson quote. One of my favorite quotes in the world is everybody has a plan till they get punched right in the mouth.
Right.
And that is the truth of life, right? What we do in our business, communication, how we react to the challenges that we can't control are what set us apart as parents too. I think that sets really great parents apart from other parents. I'm not judging. I'm just saying parents that are able to teach their kids how to have that emotional intelligence and to be able to react appropriately to things as best they can in the situation, and then figure out what they're going to do next is critical. And moments like that with your kids, if it's boys pressing you physically. With my daughter, it's more emotional. She'll just, something I was never used to having all boys is, the first time she came down the stairs, and this was, when she was 6, maybe 5, and she's just a wonderful spark plug in this universe. Rue, you both have met Rue.
Oh,
Like,
she's a sweetheart, man.
She's a unicorn of rainbows, happy times, Skittles, squirting out of her ears all the time, just pure joy. And she comes down the stairs, and I can just see a look on her face, and she just starts screaming, crying. I thought she got stabbed or stung or something. I'm like, what's wrong? And she goes, I don't know. I'm just crying. And I'm like standing there looking at her going, oh shit. Like, this isn't, I know how to do this really well. I don't know what to do. And it was just, I picked her up and I hugged her because that, I did know what to do in that situation, but it was so foreign to me. And that was her way of expressing, she's pushing her boundaries, like her emotions. And man, it's fun. And to your point that started all this, Pat, is this journey you're on now is the coolest, most important thing you will ever do in your life. Our businesses come second. Your child and your relationship with Kiara and you is the single most important thing you will do as a man or a person on this planet, in my opinion.
That's huge.
It is.
That's not
and
yeah, and like I said the other night, like I told you guys, like I feel when I was with Bobby and Scott that night, I felt that I could relate to what both you guys were saying, not fully, but I knew that it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
You know what I mean? Because I've got
you're
my
so
boy.
ahead of the game, dude. Because Bobby, I don't know about you. When I was having my first child, or kids in my life, talk about rubbing dirt. I think I was still eating dirt. I was not very evolved as a human being. I was still pretty, one-sided and pretty selfish, probably was the term. And it took me a while to open my eyes to realize that is it. And the questions you're asking, Pat, are so cool. And the fact that you want to figure it out and asking the people around you is so critical, because there's a wealth of experience. It takes a village, right?
Let me tell you something, all right? I've got you guys. I'm going to milk the cow for as much milk as I can get.
Let's go.
You guys have got life experience on me. You guys have got kids. You guys have got a wealth of knowledge. I will use you. You are resources to me, and I'm going to use you. That's just how it works.
Please do.
Phil, like, how many times do you want to have conversations on a weekly basis? And it's just like, hey, you got 2 minutes. I want to vomit.
And you're there for me. That's the cool part too, is you've been there for me. Bobby's been there for me. We reach out. It's fellowship, right? We're going to lead a little bit into your history, Bobby, and some of your experience, because, from this podcast, I want the world to know who you really are, because you're such an eclectic person, more so than I think anybody we've ever had. Not judging that you're better than, just your story, and fellowship is a word I'll use, because I bet you use that in your days as a pastor.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Right. having people around you
Praise
that
the
you
Lord.
trust, and exactly, and that you will be open and vulnerable with. As men, it's hard for us to do. And I think in our group that we're creating here through this industry, we're creating that, and we're open to anyone that shares the same like-minded feeling as kindness and trust and love, and be a good person. If you have those things, welcome. So
And on that note, let's hear Bobby Triplett's story. Let's go.
All right.
What?
Well, in all
Let's
of
go
that,
back. I want you to roll back to the age of 20.
okay.
Yeah, we're going back. Okay.
Right.
And then I want to,
Long
we're going to, this
time
is going to be you for the next 10 minutes, and Phil and I are going to be nodding. Go for it.
Okay. Well, 20, I thought I was going to be a rock star. I was in a band, and was in college. I thought I was going to be the next, Christian rock star. We were recording records. We were
you were
touring,
touring.
tried to tour. We were flying. This is where my entrepreneurial spirit honestly really came to flourish. We, I was not afraid of a no ever. So this is pre-social media, any of this stuff. We were okay. I mean, we were pretty good, but I was great at figuring out how to market ourselves. I learned how not to do that. You know what I mean? And I had a couple people show me pointers. It kind of like what you guys are talking about. I am never afraid to ask a question. And if somebody has been there, done that, smarter than me, has the bruises, the scars, I want to learn from you. So maybe I don't make that same mistake twice, or maybe I could find an easier way around. And so I was a front man in a band. I was wrote all the songs and was the lead singer, played guitar, and it was a blast. We had so much fun. Ended up, getting to a place where a lot of us were dating people seriously. We're starting to want to get married. We're still young. But growing up in conservative church, you wanted to hurry up and get married so Jesus wouldn't be mad at you for all your impure thoughts. You know what I mean? That we're, as a young man that's there, which I feel like is just BS now, as I look at it. But then that's what I went to college in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay.
But my mom and dad and, family were still over here in the Tampa Bay area.
So you think getting married is BS?
No. I think trying to hurry it up so that as a horny young man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah. No, definitely not BS. But sometimes, there's a number of us that have grown up in super conservative churches that hey man, you're thinking about her, Jesus is mad at you. He's crying up in heaven because you got an impure thought, which is, he made human beings. He knows who the heck we are. You know what I mean? So anyway, I digress, right? So in this whole 9 yards, we're all in. The wheels start to fall off. And I get an opportunity to help start a church as the music pastor, the worship leader. And so,
in West Palm.
No, this is in the greater Tampa area now. So I'm coming back from college over here. So I take that opportunity because it feels safe, right? I grew up in the church. I always knew I wanted to be in ministry. And so all right. So I helped plant a church, which is incredibly hard to do, meaning you're starting it from scratch with a handful of people. I was 22 when this happened. And it was an uphill battle of, the guy who was planning, he was probably about 10 or 12 years my senior. And so he had been in full-time ministry, big churches, he knew things business-wise. I was just the scrappy entrepreneur, not necessarily.
Let's be honest, you were the face. You were the face guy because you're good looking. You can play a guitar. They're like, we got to get some talent up front on stage to bring these people in to minister too.
Well, it was, if that was the case, I'll take it as a compliment. I don't necessarily think that was big, but I had a chip on my shoulder that no one was going to ever look down on me just because I was a young man. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to do this. And it was an incredible experience. And it was also I still have a lot of wounds from it. You know what I mean? It was some scars that were there. It was a school of hard knocks. The disappointments that when I stepped in it or when I didn't understand bigger picture and then end up getting married at this time. It was a roller coaster of all sorts of like life lessons and emotions and spiritual, you name it, right? I end up with, doing ministry with this guy for probably like 7 or 8 years. And then
Wow. That
I
I didn't
got,
know it was that long.
yeah, well, then
That's
I got
significant.
kind of burned out because the church exploded. Right now, it's still one of the largest churches in Tampa.
Do you
And
still
I
go
got
to that church?
kind of just burned out on big church. So I decided to go start another church, but this time as the senior pastor, right?
Oh,
But,
wow.
but I was the senior pastor, the music pastor, the janitor, the night watchman, the chair sitter outer, you know what I mean? I married him and
What was the
buried him. Like it was,
motivation for leaving that operation and starting your own?
yeah, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying because I had done it, but I had a safety net of somebody else's was raising all the
Sure.
money. Somebody else's name was on the bottom line. And now I'm basically going and starting a company that's a nonprofit in a recession. This is in '08, right? In
Oh,
'08 when this is happening, but like felt very
yikes.
convicted, like this is what I was supposed to do. So, um, I raised the money. Like I had to go put my name on a lease. I had, the whole night. I convinced about 40 people that were crazy as I am to go follow a 28-year-old guy to go start a church, and which is crazy to think. Um, 28 or 20, something like that. And I was the senior pastor at that church for another 7 years. Ended up my ex-wife and I, we go through a divorce, and as we're separated, I end up stepping down. Like I don't want to divorce in church is weird, man. Like
Yeah.
it's and so I didn't want to put the people that I love that I had been pastoring, a few hundred of them for the last 7 years through having to choose me or the church, right? So I stepped down. One of the guys that was in my church is a really good friend of mine, Corey Donahue. So he was the president of Invitation Homes Florida at the time, right? Invitation Homes Tampa, when they was first starting, used to use my church, which was in a warehouse, as a place to have their staff meetings because they didn't have big enough office space to have all their PMs and
No way.
property managers and all stuff. So they would use my space in Tampa. What's crazy about this, 2 years prior to this, he comes over to my house. I'm a big cigar guy. I don't like you guys obviously know that. And, I like my adult beverage as well. So we're drinking bourbon and Corey and I are having cigars on my back porch. This is when I was his pastor. And this group called the Treehouse Group, which is what became Invitation Homes. Like this is straight out of like maybe a year removed from The Big Short, all the players in The Big Short, the movie, right? He's like, they've asked
Oh,
me to
we
help start
froze.
this. What do you think? Because he was a very successful flipper here in the Tampa Bay area, real estate investor. What do you think? I'm like, I feel like this is bigger than you and I even have an idea. Like, and the fact that they're coming to you for leadership to get this, that feels good to me, right? Like I had a really good confidence in him to do it. He takes the role. He runs Invitations Florida. Little did I know 2 years later, I'm going through a divorce, and that would be the very place that would employ me and start me in this entire journey in the real estate renovation world.
I didn't know
Crazy.
that, Matty. I didn't know that. I didn't know you started at IH
Yeah.
and God, that's so interesting.
So I was there for 2 years. He's like, I just need a leader. And I've always been handy. Like, and I, did mission trips where we built churches and renovated stuff. And like, I was the only handyman at the church that I was the pastor. Like that was it. Like me and some other guys at the church. And, he's like, but what I need is a leader. Like that's where we're hurting. And so I come in, I fake the real estate investor stuff and the property maintenance management stuff. I fake it. I become a student of it. Like I'll never forget as long as I live, man. This is embarrassing to even say, but like I'd rather share my shit and let somebody else who's in the industry realize you're not alone. I remember like day one, I'm literally like eyes as big as saucers. Like I don't know what I don't know. And I'm making notes on my phone. And like I remember like Google ROI. You know what I mean? Like, what is the
Yeah.
like one of like,
Yeah, like
I don't think it was
people are
that, but like
dropping
something
terms.
simple like
Yeah,
that.
you
Yeah.
don't know. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What are all these
What's
TLAs,
a
right? The
COI?
3-letter
Yeah,
acronyms.
COI. I
Yeah.
don't know what that
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So I ended up like, that was it, man. And I made a reputation there. People used to get so annoyed. Like, and I remember some of the guys, because they're still in the space, guys and girls, like why the heck did they hire a preacher man? Like, that's dumb. Like, we need
That
this.
is
And it
so
ended up like,
interesting.
I'm very proud of the fact that, especially for Tampa, we went from silos to same team. And I had some great guys that were my leaders, and I just was going to lead from behind and fake it till I make it and try to leave it better than I found it. And 2 years after that, I get recruited by a general contractor that I had parted ways with at Invitation Homes. And I get a call saying, "Hey, Mr. Bobby, will you come help us fix things?" And, they threw some money at me. They threw a title at me. And I was like, okay, like, maybe at the time I was a little bit butthurt about getting passed up on something. We've all been there where,
Normal.
well, man, they don't respect me. They don't think, and really it's
Yeah, they
your
don't
own, it's
appreciate
my own
me.
insecurities. Right. So, but these guys saw me like, this is great. So, I ended up taking this role to go work for this big general contracting firm. Um, and it was a good experience. Like, it was, not a very long experience, but it was good. Like, I got to see our industry from the vendor side. I got to learn about what not to do. I learned some very valuable, very lessons of like, hey, okay, if I'm ever in this position, I want to do X, Y, and Z different. And then I learned some stuff like, hey, if I'm ever in this, man, I'd absolutely do that part again. Right? It was
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, a wealth of
Few
knowledge
wins.
in like 9 months. Well, while I was there, OfferPad starts. And OfferPad had reached out to my same
They
friend.
started here in Phoenix, right? They
Correct.
started
Yes, sir.
in,
Yeah.
yep.
Reached out to my good buddy Corey to help them launch OfferPad Tampa. And Corey reached out to me. He's like, I need you to help me get this off the ground. And I had just got remarried. And there's a lot of question marks, being on the vendor side of things. Like, sometimes it's feast or famine. And I was asking some questions and I was not getting in my own soul, like the answers that I needed. And I'm like, okay, we'll go start this. I'm going to blow your mind in a minute. This is crazy. So I say yes. But in the
What year
meantime,
was this? What year was this, by the way?
2016.
Okay.
So at the same time, so my dad was a cop. He was a state trooper here in Florida. And I always thought if I wasn't going to be a pastor, I was going to be a policeman just like him. So as things are starting to like, question marks are coming for me in this space, I'm a little bit frustrated. You know what? I'm just going to go be a cop like my dad. So I go put my application in at the sheriff's office. I start going through all the psych evals. I'm doing the physicals, like the whole time, like I'm transitioning from this GC firm that I was the vice president of to OfferPad, which like we didn't really have titles at the time.
Yep.
And like it was a startup and it was scary. And I don't know if this is going to work either. I am like studying, preparing, pushing my body, pushing my mind to just go be a sheriff's deputy here in Tampa. Like,
So hold on 1 second. So you're running a career as a cop. You're mentally preparing for it. You're actually executing on becoming a cop.
Yeah.
And then you've got the role with OfferPad up and running simultaneously.
yes.
What was the motivation behind the role at OfferPad? Were you trying to develop an element of a contingency plan for the cop, or
No,
was the
I
cop a
was trying to help my
contingency plan?
friend, and I had question marks about the previous company, like their longevity. You know what I mean? As the industry was changing, and like, hey, this is a startup, so I'll give my best while I'm here. Like, who knows? But like, I'm going to help you, bud, and I'm going to give my best. But like nights and weekends, I'm taking these tests to go be a cop, right? And my motivation for the cop
two
was I
different ends of
wanted,
the spectrum too, right?
yeah, well, I wanted
So
consistency.
you were becoming a cop. You weren't doubling down on OfferPad. You were just filling a quick gap for a friend.
Right.
You were becoming a cop.
But I had a lot of very valuable wisdom, lessons, connections, from the last 3 years in the space, right? Working for Invitation and then helping with this
Yeah.
GC. So, I would like I'm a connector by nature. So I had tons of vendors. Like he needed me for my cell phone and all the contractors that are in here. You know what I mean? He needed me for what he didn't know on that side. But I was searching for consistency. I wanted a pension. Like I'm looking at my dad, like he's retired and he's got a place in the mountains and a place near the beach. Like
Yep.
he's doing fine. They're not fancy places, but they're like his. I'm like, maybe that's what I'm missing. And I honestly, like, I wanted camaraderie. I wanted brotherhood. I needed something. And I felt like I was dying on the vine So I go all through this stuff. I get through my oral boards at the sheriff's department. Never forget this as long as I think I nailed it. I mean, I'm squeaky clean. I'm a cop's
Yeah,
kid.
you're a pastor. I mean, talk about
I'm a
like
cop's kid. I've been a vice
dropping the
president. I
mic.
got no record. Like at the time I was, I don't know, early 30s, right? Like I'm not some punk kid trying to come out and like give me a gun. You know what I mean? Like this was and I had this pedigree, because my dad was he
Yeah.
was here in this part of the state for 30 years, right? So I'll never forget as long as I live. This sergeant calls me and she's like, is this Bobby Triplett? I was like, yeah. And I was like, she's like, did you just finish your oral boards? And I was like, yeah. She's like, how did you think they went? I was like, I thought they went great. She's like, well, I'm here to tell you, you're not the kind of person we want on this team.
What?
No explanation.
Shut up,
Nothing.
bro.
That was as long, and then the phone clicked. And I was like, gut punched, flabbergasted.
Oh
like,
my God.
Like, what? Like, we're 300 deputies short. Like, why don't you want me?
Yeah,
I
how
felt
do
like
I
I was
not
like,
fit?
I felt like a World War II guy who got 4F'd, and wasn't allowed to fight
Yeah.
the one. And like, not as extreme as that, please. I'm not putting myself in the
No,
greatest
but
generation.
buddy, that's like that is a gut punch.
Wow. No explanation, nothing.
So I will never forget, like, I remember like just driving home completely dejected. Like, what am I going to do? And at the time, my boss at OfferPad and we were like this, like we were not seeing eye to eye. And he was trying to run OfferPad Tampa, like OfferPad Phoenix, but like the homes are different. The contracts are different. The permitting's different. So like, I remember the very next day, this is why I don't think things are accidental. I'm down in Sarasota walking houses. And he calls me, and I've told him this story a million times just recently. Like, a guy named JJ Dupuy, with our material. Like, so JJ was my boss at the time. And so,
at OfferPad?
Yeah, he was my first boss at
together.
OfferPad.
Oh my God.
Right. So, he calls me, and at this time, like, we were a little bit like, we were salty to each other. Like, we didn't know each other. Like, he didn't appreciate me yet. I didn't appreciate him yet. And so I'm driving, and he had just let there was two of us in the whole state of Florida. He just let the other guy go, I want to say the week or two before. And I'm driving, and I get a call from him. I never get a call from him. I'm like, all right, well, here we go. I can't be a cop, and JJ is about to fire me right here. Yeah. Like, so he's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm driving back from Sarasota, about an hour from my house. He's like, well, I need you to pull over. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me right now, right? Just got married. Like, what are we doing? So I pull over into a parking lot of a Bob Evans, and he goes, well, today's the day you're going to be the new director of Florida. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, what's the job description to this? I kid you not. And if you have to bleep it out, because I'm going to be true to the moment. I was like, what's the job description? He's like, I didn't fucking hire you because of a job description. I hired you to write one. Yeah. And I said, if that is your word, I will say yes right now. And he's like, I promise. You go write the role. You go make it happen. And from that day on, like, I've never not wanted to be anywhere else. Like, I've wanted to be here. That's amazing. He knew, and I think he learned that if he trusted me to lead, I'm going to make him look really, really good. And 40,000 renovations later, helping open every market that we've ever been in, leading with some really amazing people, coming up on 9 years this year. In 2 months, it'll be 9 years. The company's like just barely 10 years old, or almost going to be 10. And so fast forward, like the 16-year-old kid who thought he was going to be a rock star, never in a million years would have thought that I'd be standing on the podium at the New York Stock Exchange helping ring the bell with our CEO. Like, it's wild, unbelievable ride. And I think, like, this wasn't even intentional, but when we're talking about the story and we're talking about our kids, like, I think my dad teaching me how to rub some dirt on it and teaching me like how to, get back up after, an offensive lineman cleans my clock on the football field, or, you get hit by a pitch, whatever it is, or you put your foot in your mouth. Like, I am so grateful for those lessons, because, man, some of this stuff was my fault. Some of it wasn't my fault. And, I think the perseverance side and don't be a dick in the process. You know what I mean?
That's
Like, I
it.
feel like I feel really blessed, in that. So
Well, how
that's
much
my,
your faith too probably has to do with that, brother, right? Like that when you finally give in to the belief that it's not up to us anymore, those
sure.
things get easier because you
Which
just, to your
point?
point, like you're just pulling over, going, all right, here we go, I'm getting fired. It is what it is, and it's not. And you roll with that punch and move forward on whatever it was. And that story blows me away. But did you ever find, did your dad ever hear, was there ever any closure as to what you didn't do well in the orals, or was that just a defining moment of
I
that's it?
I mean, there's like I have people that are good friends of mine that work in that organization today, and I nothing but great things. But I think the former sheriff, he didn't want somebody that already had his mind made up about the world and about leadership and about things. They were
Yeah.
looking for more people that they could mold younger.
Yeah,
And I
they
totally
couldn't
understand
control
that.
you.
Like, but yeah, I mean,
That's
that's what
so
somebody told me. I
crazy.
don't know if that's necessarily true, but it makes
Yeah,
sense. So that'll help me sleep at night. But I still get pissed off every now and then. Like
I would
there's a
too.
billboard right like on my way to the airport every day where it's like, hey, join sheriff's department, exciting careers. I'm like, I tried to, but then
Yeah,
like,
I tried to get in.
but
Sons of
then like,
bitches wouldn't let me in.
but it's the best no that I ever got because I think about like every day, like the team, the camaraderie that I wanted. Like I got to build that culture, and my bosses now, like the C-suite, like they trust me with our people,
Yeah.
and they trust me with our culture, and they
Well,
trust me with
you built something that's affecting so many people, your
right,
residents, your investors, your
right.
people that work for you. I mean, you would have had a big impact. You'd have been a great cop. Let's be honest. You
Thanks, man.
have that
You'd be
personality that
you'd be a
would have
great
been
anything, bro.
amazing. But you put those talents to something else, and you're affecting people in such a positive way.
Yeah, well,
That is such
I'm
a
blessed to
trip,
be here.
bro.
Yeah,
Walk
it's a
us
lot.
through. I want you to walk us through your faith. So,
My what?
um, your faith,
Okay.
and I want to find out at which point did your faith play its part in your career throughout all of these times, starting a new church by yourself, with a team, and then you started a new church by yourself. Then you tried to become a cop, and then you had offer pad over there. At which point did faith kick in and you let go and you let God, or did you not?
I mean, I think it's always been a part of like maybe it's the entrepreneurial spirit, or maybe it's just that I always, from a young age, felt close to God. You know what I mean? I
So powerful.
never was afraid to trust Him. That at the end of the day, like He's a good dad, and I've got a great dad, and He's way better than my dad. And I feel
Yeah.
like I'm a pretty good dad, and He's way better than me. And like I trust it. I don't think I've ever been in a place where I haven't trusted the intention of His heart. I have sometimes disregarded it. Sometimes like,
We
Well,
all have.
that's the
just
power of it too,
just
right?
didn't
Free will,
please,
you
you know
know,
what I mean, and try to do it on my own. Like,
show you the
um,
way, but you don't always take that path, and
yeah,
it's your choice.
yeah. And I think in all of this, like, I was still, I mean, I'm still searching for myself. There's still
Right.
questions that I don't have answered, even remotely, on me as a man. And things where I'm looking in the mirror, like, dude, who are you? Sometimes, and like I trust that he's good, right? I'm a huge nerd, like anything with Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, dragons,
Yep.
horses, swords. Like there's a sword on my wall back here. I don't know if you can see it. The um, but
Oh,
like he talks about like in the Chronicles of Narnia, like how Aslan isn't safe, but he's good.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's a beautiful thing. And obviously,
I
Aslan is a
mean,
metaphor,
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
God in there. And like, I don't think we're ever promise safety. I mean, you look at all the crazy stuff that happens
Hell
in the
no.
world. But I
Hell
well,
can
no.
that's one of my favorite quotes is C.S. Lewis. None of us get out of this game alive,
yeah,
right? Like it is what it is, and to have faith and to carry that through your time here, and it comes to us at different times as a later bloomer with that stuff. Is so important, and it
yeah,
really does for anyone listening that's struggling with that. Once you really accept it, it takes so much weight off of you from the stuff you were worried about that you thought
sure,
mattered
yeah,
because it doesn't.
yeah.
You
I mean,
become a better person.
and it's
As
what
a
I'll
as
say on
a
a day to day basis. Like, I may not be the best HR guy, in all this because like if something's going on with one of my guys, like I'm going to have a heart to heart, like, and maybe put the pastor hat or the
speak the
counselor
truth.
hat.
You speak truth to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm shoving some religion down anybody's throat
No.
at
no.
all,
Hell
but
no.
it's more like, I think the things that I learned as a pastor from like counseling and leadership development and like people, leadership skills and understand like the psychology, like I use that stuff all day long.
Yeah.
And then too, like, I also want to be like, because we are both a client, right, to you guys. And then we have clients that we are the vendor
Yeah.
to.
You run both sides of the fence, which is so interesting. Not many companies have that, right?
Right. And in that, I want to be able to be that solution, that vendor that somebody could pick up. I want to be able to be the Phil Burton of renovations, where people, like, I know if I call
Please.
Phil and I need flooring fixed, like it's fixed without me even like it's done. Like I want to be able to evoke that kind of confidence in the people that we're doing this for. And I think it comes with the same way that I'm trying to lead my teams and lead our company. Like casting the vision, keeping the why out in front, all those things I learned as a young pastor back in the day.
When you were a pastor, you would have come across situations like atheists where they questioned you and so forth,
Sure.
right? Okay. Can you share with us a story or a story that stuck with you of where you had an atheist come and question you? What was the question and what was your response?
I don't know if I ever had one like straight
As
up, like
direct.
come in like, hey, show me the secrets of the world,
Yeah.
or like, why do you believe this?
Tell me why I'm wrong. Prove to me the sky's blue.
They exist, man. They exist.
Oh, I
They
know.
come out
Like, I'll take this. Like, we were very like, I'm a musician. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit of a poet. Like, I'm a nerd. You know, I've had an opportunity. I've written a few books and they've been published. Our church was really involved in the arts, and a lot of the artists here in town. And we thought, hey, we've done with a lot of visual art, photography, painting, like, what about filmmaking? So for a couple of years, we ran a pretty cool independent film festival that we had people from all over the world would come in and submit films to. And one of the guys who I met through the film commission, he had a lot of questions and he was seeking. And this is the very first time I remember saying this phrase, and I will never forget it. I'm saying his name is Russ Hess. He used to be like a voiceover actor on like The Simpsons. He used to be the voice of like Jeffrey the Giraffe for Toys R Us back in the 80s, in the 90s. Like, super cool guy. And so he's willing to help me break into this film scene that I know I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about, but I just had a good idea. And we're sitting outside of a Starbucks one day, and he's like asking me, like, why this? Like, is this about getting church attendance? Is this about getting famous? Is this about like getting, in the newspaper when those things existed? And I'll never forget it as long as I live, because I meant it then and I still mean it today. I was like, I just want to leave this better than I found it. And so if I can, like, as the church, like if we can invest in the artists and leave them better, or in the scene or in the event, and do that well, then it's going to be a blessing to anybody. And if it's going to be good or a blessing, then maybe that'll have people want to ask some other questions or dive a little bit deeper. And so I was never the apologist that was ready to go, in a measuring contest over our faith or our doctrine. Like, I'm still not that guy.
All right. So your answer to him was you just want to leave your operation better than
I want to
better
leave
than
the
you found it.
city. The city.
Leave
better.
the city.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Why do you go back to that statement?
Because I feel like it's universal. It's true. And honestly, I feel like,
why? Why that one? You're adamant. Your kids remember you for this one statement. The statement is, I want to leave it better than you found it. Why is it important for you to teach your kids to leave something better than when they found it?
so because I believe at the end of this whole game, man, like, who you loved and how you did it, like, I feel like that's a reflection of a much bigger story. Because I feel like, I mean, not to get all preachery on you, but like,
Get preachery. It's what the microphone
yeah,
is for.
brother.
That's not even a word, but like preachery. I don't know. I made it up. An author. I can do that right now. I'm playing. Yeah.
You're a cop. You can say anything you want.
That's right. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, Jesus came to restore all things, right? Not to be this like Like, and I think when the Apostle Paul talks about when he came for the restoration of all things, he means the restoration of all things. Like, that's why he came. Not to point an accusing finger, but to make things right, to put things whole.
So Christ has influenced that statement in your life, which is why you believe that
Yeah.
you want to continue God's mission. Is that correct?
Yeah, and if that means I can leave a house better for an investor, if that means I can leave an employee better for their spouse or their kids, if that means I can leave, a stock number better because we gave our
You can
best.
apply it to anything in
Yeah.
your life,
And it
and
works.
it gives purpose to everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we struggle, right? Or like I'll speak for
Oh, yeah.
myself.
I do.
I struggle to find purpose in why I'm making cold calls or why I'm reaching out or whatever things we're doing, whether it's work, family, for myself. And when you put it in those terms, and that's so powerful that you just want to leave things better than when you found them. What
And what's
better
crazy
way?
too, man, is like when I get in my own way or I get selfish or self-centered or egotistical or pride gets whatever, like it's a quick litmus test for me to find my way back. Hey, dude, is this part of who you are? No, you might want to shut your mouth. Or, hey, you might want to check your attitude. Or, hey, you might want to go ask somebody's forgiveness because that,
It's the ultimate ego check, right?
yeah.
What's Bobby Triplett's definition of manhood?
A definition of what?
Manhood.
Oh my gosh. Definition of manhood.
I think it's him on the dance floor at Johnny's Hideaway. I'm just
I-
going to say that right now
mean,
because
I am-
I've seen that in Atlanta. Shout out to Johnny's Hideaway,
There you go.
the seedy, most coolest dive bar in
From the
country.
60s. Yeah.
Yeah, the carpet has never been changed, nor would we allow it to
Yeah,
ever be.
Your shoes should be burned afterwards.
Him dancing on the dance floor like John Travolta with moves like that might be the most manly thing I've ever seen.
Like I don't want to be, I don't know his definition of manhood, but I had a mentor one time who called himself a Renaissance man. You know what I mean? And like he knew everything about wine and scotch and food and music and like he's a very successful businessman and he was also an artist and he loved sports and like family man, the whole, and like I remember from a early 20s, probably like 24, 25, fresh into the ministry, like seeing that. And like, that was a picture of, because I'm an artist as well. Like I'm a little touchy feely, little dreamer driver. You know what I mean? Like I'm a crier, you know what I mean? Put a movie with a horse on it, or a Publix commercial, you're going to see a tear. It happens. But I also like have a lot of guns and swords and ride, like not afraid to, do whatever. And I remember like seeing like that, like, man, the joy he brought when he would explain this bottle of wine or when he would tell me about what's in the sauce or like why this cigar was the way or what happened to this music. Like, I remember like I made it a mission that whatever it is I'm into or whatever it is that moves me, that I want as a man to be able to let that bring joy to whoever I get to share it with. Like that true spirit of hospitality. Like it's a weird definition, but like,
well, it shows up in your personality too, because something you didn't share in your history is your love of cooking, right?
Yeah.
You are a trained chef, right? Am I accurate in saying that, or self-trained? I don't know.
I've had a couple mentors and the rest was self-taught. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I applied for like
love
back in the day. I
cook
applied for Top Chef back in the day. I didn't make it, but then I've also taught some cooking classes all through here, and I've had opportunity to cook for some pretty incredible people. One of them is Phillip Burton, but I was his sous chef though. I was just
no. You took
I was
over
just the
rightfully
saucier.
so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
What
tell.
was
I'm
that
gonna
the
tell
night with
this
the New York
story.
strips?
This was New York strip night.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to cook for 12 people or something, and I'm getting a little over my skis. And you were so gracious because you're like, hey, you mind if I jump in and help? And you didn't need it, is what you were saying to me, but clearly I did. But let me jump in, and the shirt got unbuttoned, the towel went over the shoulder, and you started whipping up sauces and doing this, and it ended up being the coup de grace to what the dinner was, because doing that with you was so fun.
It was so fun.
I know what it's like to be around people that have a passion for that, restaurant folks and chefs, and you love to give to others, and it shows in everything
thanks,
you do.
man.
And I think what's really cool about anybody listening to this for us that might want to approach you, like if it's a vendor or an investor that you're working with, you're getting the real deal in Bobby T. Bobby Triplett shows up exactly how he's showing up on this podcast and how he is in real life.
Yeah,
You want to
exactly.
give back more than you get. And that's pretty rare, brother.
Thanks,
Pretty rare.
I'll just make a quick comment. I was the one who got the thermometer working for the steaks, you motherfucker. So next time you should also thank me for that as well.
But I
you
didn't
were
cook
just
the
brooding.
second time. I only cooked for the first time.
Yeah, that was the first time. He was just brooding in the corner because he didn't think you liked him, Bobby. He's over there like,
and
in
here,
his little
like
Australian accent, like, "I mate doesn't like my Australian accent.
that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Yeah, that's not a knife, mate. He's a son of a bitch." How do you say son of a bitch in Australian? Say that. Bitch.
I'm yet to meet one American who can do the Australian accent. I swear.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
It becomes like a Scottish guy's assaulting a British guy.
That's
It's
right.
worse
It's
to try to-
terrible. The Australian accent's just it's so unique in its own way. Like I don't know how we speak it to the point where it's just so difficult. But anyway, look, it is an hour and 15. We like to keep the podcast at this point, and we have been having an amazing conversation, I must admit. We're definitely due for a round 2, that's for sure. But Bobby, my brother, I appreciate your time today, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate you reaching out. We're so grateful to have you on the podcast, and I really hope that all the guests learn a lot from you, man.
Gentlemen,
I want to
next
show this to you.
Oh,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
sorry. This is a gift that we're sending you. I don't know if this is a way to see it. It says Bobby's Lounge on there, and it's a hand holding a cigar. You can put that up in your house. This is why I
Nice.
needed your address earlier.
Oh,
We'll post it in the link too.
That's
So
awesome.
that's a gift coming from us to you.
that won't creep my wife out at all. I swear. You know, it's like
That's what I thought too. Oh, God,
I
that's
love
so
it.
funny. I was
Guys.
like, this is so creepy and so cool in the same.
what's going to happen is my 15-year-old's going to find other inappropriate things to put in the hand as opposed
Exactly.
to like,
Oh yeah,
this
he's
cigar.
gonna use
It's
everything
be
against
awesome.
you, bro.
Yeah.
I love it.
You bet.
Guys, thank you
No
so much
worries.
for having me. I know we didn't talk a whole lot of business, but I think we solved a good portion of the world's problems a little bit, or at least exposed our hypocrisy in the middle
We
of
had
it.
some
So,
fun.
yeah.
We had
That
some
sets up
fun.
a round 2 for sure.
Hey.
I mean, there's so much more to share and to get you talking about it. And you're
What
you're
we-
one of our favorite people.
Oh,
You
thanks,
know,
man.
it's a blessing to be here with you. It's a cool time, bro.
Well, I think the next time what we need to do is do it in person. I'll supply the cigars. You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
You
Done.
supply the looks, and let's do
Done.
this. You know what I mean?
Done. 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Patrick Osman and Phillip Burton with Between Two Hats with our beautiful blessed guest, Bobby Triplett. Chat to you soon.
Peace out, folks.